Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Emami Limited Q1 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by IIFL Capital Limited. As a reminder, all participant line will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Percy Panthaki from IIFL Capital Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Emami's quarterly conference call. Emami has reported good set of numbers, sales up 38% and similarly EBITDA also up by an equal amount. This is better than our estimates. And to take us through the quarterly results, we have from the company Mr. Mohan Goenka, Director, and Mr. Rajesh Sharma, President, Finance and IR. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Mr. Goenka.
Yeah. Thank you, Percy. A very good evening, friends. I welcome you all to this conference call on Emami's result for the first quarter ended 30th June 2021. I hope all of you and your loved ones are safe and keeping good health in the current uncertain times induced by the pandemic. As we all know, the second wave of the pandemic had a devastating effect on not only people's lives but the industry as well, which affected the momentum of its recovery. While the initial weeks of April witnessed a sustained momentum of growth, May proved to be a challenging month with the subsequent increase in COVID cases. It was unfortunate that the second wave of the pandemic hit during the peak summer months, just like the first wave had hit us during these months last year. This once again resulted in impacting the performance of our summer portfolio. Moreover, unlike the first wave, this time rural markets were severely impacted due to the high incidence of cases in the rural areas. Even the demand for immunity and hygiene products were muted compared to the first wave. Notwithstanding the challenges that we continue to face, we are delighted to have been able to post one of our most profitable performances during the quarter. Our profitability was not only higher than the base quarter, which was impacted by the lockdown, but also much superior to Q1 FY20, which was a normal quarter. While our overall revenues at 661 crores grew by 37% over Q1 FY21, it was higher by 2% over the base quarter of last year. That is Q1 FY20, which we believe is robust considering the severity of the impact of second wave and particularly for summer products. During the quarter, our domestic business grew by 42%, with our pain management range growing by 70%, Navratna by 21%, Kesh King by 53%, male grooming by 78%, and 7 oils in 1 by 93%. BoroPlus range grew by 96%, excluding the sanitizer sales. Our healthcare business, with its basket of Ayurveda-based innovative products as well as digital-first products, have continued to witness a robust growth of 59%. Further, our new launches contributed to 3% of domestic revenues during the quarter. If we compare our growth against last year, that is Q1 FY20, which was a normal quarter, our domestic business grew by 5%, with both pain management and healthcare range growing by 95%. BoroPlus, excluding sanitizers, by 32%, 7 oils in 1 by 17%, and Kesh King by 2%. Navratna unfortunately declined by 29% and male grooming range declined by 47% due to the lockdown in peak summer season and low demand for discretionary product. During the quarter, modern trade grew by 63% and e-commerce continued its robust run, growing by 3.7 times. Our own e-commerce portal, Zandu Care, is also growing at a rapid pace with more than 1 crore visitors since launch. In Q1 FY22, e-com business increased its contribution by 300 basis points to 5% of domestic revenues now. Our project to increase footprint in rural areas through Project Khoj and focus on standalone modern trade is progressing steadily. International business grew by 17% during the quarter. Barring Middle East geographies, all other regions posted strong growth during the quarter. We posted record profits during the quarter despite high input cost pressure, which highlights our resilience. Our gross margins at 66% were lower by just 50 basis points over previous year. We largely protected our margins on account of judicious price increases across the portfolio. EBITDA at rupees 170 crores grew by 38% and EBITDA margins at 25.7% grew by 20 basis points. PAT at 78 crores grew by 97% and PAT margins at 11.8% increased by 350 basis points. Cash profit at 161 crores also grew by 41% and cash profit margins at 24.3% grew by 50 basis points. If we compare our financial performance over last year, that is Q1 of FY20, our gross margins were higher by 180 basis points. EBITDA grew by 27% and EBITDA margins also grew by 500 basis points. PAT grew by 98% and PAT margin grew by 570 basis points, while cash profit grew by 31% and cash margins also grew by 540 basis points. With the graph of COVID-19 at this moment declining steadily, we are hopeful of steady performance in coming months. We will continue to focus on our future-ready business strategies and digitization. We will also continue to expand our footprints across rural regions and newer formats of modern trade. Our experience in combating the onslaught of COVID-19 last year, which took everyone by surprise, has made us today more war ready and our committed team which performed and contributed by meeting the challenges head on. We are also working constantly to deliver despite hardships that the second wave of the pandemic brought to each one of us. We will continue to innovate and use our past experience to overcome any future challenges in the future and are confident of achieving desired business objectives and deliver great results. With this brief, I now open the floor for Q&A. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may press star and 1 on their touch-tone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may please press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. To ask a question, you may please press star and 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have a first question from the line of Avnish Roy from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks and congrats on good set of numbers. My first question is on Kesh King. So on 2 years basis, 2% growth versus overall domestic sales growth of 5%. So are you happy with that number? And second is the brand ambassador of Kesh King is obviously currently the family is going through that controversy and there's a lot of press coverage also. So could that impact the brand negatively, and any plans to change the brand ambassador?
So Abneesh, we are quite happy with the performance of Kesh King, and Kesh King, as you know, is a rural brand which got a little impacted in the first quarter, but we have seen good growth coming in the month of July. So seeing at the numbers of July, I think the brand is in a very, very solid state. Yes, unfortunately, as far as the celebrity is concerned, we haven't taken any decision as of now. We are just monitoring the situation. Let us see what we decide.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but definitely, Kesh King is showing good trends in the month of July.
Right. My second and last question is on the new products. For example, you put that Navratna therapy range, etc. Are these more for e-commerce? And last year, a lot of new products helped every FMCG company. This year, things are very different. So, if you could discuss the new product contribution expected this year, and if you could talk about some of the e-commerce only products also.
So, Abneesh, you would have seen in the first quarter also, our contribution from new products was 3% for domestic. So, and this is on last year sanitizers were very high. This year sanitizer sales were almost zero. So yes, we have constantly been saying we will be launching a lot of digital first brands in almost all our portfolios, and we have started with Navratna. We are ready with some of the launches under Fair and Handsome. Some of the launches in Kesh King we launched. So let us see how it progresses, but we would be very aggressive as far as the digital brands are concerned.
And any update on your own e-commerce?
Definitely. In my con call, I said since launch, in 9 months, we have got almost 1 crore consumers who have visited our site, and we have a huge data of consumers who are buying. There are a lot of repeat purchases. We are by every passing day, we are strengthening our this site, Zandu portal. We have recruited a lot of new faces, young faces for Zandu portal. So new products would come only for Zandu. So I'm very bullish. In the next 2-3 years, this should be an absolute new channel for us, everyone, at least for us.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Tejas Shah from Spark Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi Mohanji, thanks for the opportunity. Mohanji, just wanted to get some sense on rural growth in the quarter, considering that the second wave impacted that segment disproportionately versus the first one.
Yes, so Tejas, as we have constantly been saying that rural has been a little subdued, in this quarter, and rural has not grown as much as the urban growth is concerned.
Is it materially low or?
Not materially low, because some brands have done well in the rural areas. So, but it is slightly lower compared to the urban growth.
Second question pertains to male grooming range recovery struggle there. You called out in your opening remarks that discretionary / grooming categories were under pressure. But when we see your portfolio itself, 7 oils in one or pain management range, which has been more discretionary in nature, most of those categories have done very well on recovery. So anything specific which is lagging here?
No, but if you would have noticed 2 years trend now, even male grooming declined by almost 27-28% on a 2-year basis. Okay, because last year the male grooming had no base. That's why it grew at 78-80%. But on a 2-year basis, it is still declined.
Yeah, so my question was that only, Moji, that why that segment is not bouncing back versus the rest of the other. Navratna, you explained that there was a seasonality, but male grooming had no such factors as I can think of.
So if you would notice, Tejas, only two brands on a 2-year basis declined. So for summer portfolio, there is a very clear reason that, why it declined. And because there were no social events because of the lockdown, particularly the male grooming, because there were no outings, people were not going to offices or to parties or social events, so that product also suffered. It is complete discretionary. And now, in the last 3-4 weeks, we are seeing, the momentum coming in the male grooming also.
Okay. And last one, if I may. You spoke about e-commerce contributing 5%. What will be the constituent of this third-party marketplace versus our own website business?
Our sales in this is about, how much percentage? Would be about 1%. If 5% is total e-com, our Zandu portal would be 1%, right? Yeah, about 1%.
Okay. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Shirish Pardeshi from Centrum Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Mohanji and Rajeshri. Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations for good recovery. Though the result says that 2 years CAGR we have done little lower than expectation, but assume that rural is impacted is much more. But given the scenario, I think rural will come back for our products. What I can also see that UP, Bihar, these markets has a higher saliency coming from Navratna, has also seen the lockdowns. Are you in Cyclosan saying that this rural has a fundamental structural issue and that's why you're worried about rural growth, or this is purely because of the lockdown and delayed purchase?
No, Shirish, we are more than bullish as far as rural markets are concerned, and as far as our portfolios are concerned, we are even more bullish. So there is no reason why I would ever say that structurally there is an issue in the rural markets. We haven't done well only because of the summer portfolio. That's why we have seen a slight decline in the rural areas. But the month of July has bounced back. As far as the rural markets are concerned, we are seeing almost every market now functioning. People are visiting those areas and we are seeing demand coming back. Monsoon has been excellent across India. So if there is no third wave, then I don't see any structural difference or change. We are going ruthlessly as far as our project Khoj is concerned, because even before the third wave hits, if it ever hits, we want to establish the maximum rural areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My second question pertains to the healthcare range. I think we have seen a significant improvement when we look at 2-year or even YOY. Tell me structurally, what are the things, we know that there is a change in senior management. You have brought in experienced people to drive the business. But what we can expect, say next 3 to 4 quarters? You said Zandu Care website is also on. There is a traffic which is happening. But I think what I'm trying to understand, what the healthcare business will double in FY22, or it will take time because we are still not full grown.
No, so we are aggressive as far as this business is concerned. Now things have come in the base, because last year the base was extremely high because of the immunity products. Chyawanprash, grew by almost 18-20 times last year. So now that effect has come in. But if you exclude the Chyawanprash, and the other brands are doing exceedingly well as far as the STD is concerned. So as I said, we have hired a lot of mid-level people. A young talent has joined in the last 2-3 months to look after the healthcare portfolio, and particularly for the Zandu portal. So I don't know if it would double or it would, what numbers I cannot say, but definitely we are going aggressive as far as Zandu is concerned.
Okay. I have 2 more questions. The question which I was more interested on the margin front, have we taken any aggressive price increases in the month of July? I understand you have taken about 3.5% price increase in the quarter one.
No, after that we haven't taken any price increase.
Okay. So what is the weighted inflation which we are facing at this point of time for the company?
Inflation?
Yeah.
What do you mean by weighted inflation?
I mean, for the overall company, what is the inflation which we are facing at this point of time? And if we have to meet that, how much more price increases we'll have to take?
No, for the year, Shirish, I don't think we would go beyond 3.5%. And now the prices for raw materials are also, favorable, I would say. They are not increasing the day it was increasing in the month of March or April. So there is no further room of price increase.
Okay. But just last question, if I can squeeze in the international part. I think the growth momentum is picking up, but yet we have seen a little lower growth. So would you be able to tell me what is the expectation which we can see in the maybe quarter 2, quarter 3 onwards? We did some product improvement and we have added Creme 21 soap also. So what one can expect in the international business once things stabilize?
Shirish, good you asked this question. Unfortunately, the international business, over the last 2 months has been, a little stressful because a lot of our key markets have gone under lockdown, particularly the Middle East. So that is a slight cause of worry. Same trend we are seeing in the month of July also. So let us see when it recovers. So yes, international is not growing unfortunately for the last 2 months.
Okay. All right.
But
Thank you and all the
business
best.
has shown a good recovery.
Okay. Thank you, Mohanji.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participant to ask a question. You may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Prakash Kapadia from Anil Portfolio Manager. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. 2 questions from my side. Pain management continues its momentum despite, having a good base of last year. So is it just Maharashtra which is a key market where we are seeing traction, or these are some newer markets, or, the higher version and the premium version is doing well? If you could comment on pain management.
Yes, Prakashji, this time in the second wave, that we completely developed new markets, particularly the northern India, where we saw a huge amount of growth, almost sales increased by 3-4 times. So in the last, I think, 3 months, as far as pain balm is concerned, we recruited almost 35 to 37 lakh new consumers who ever tried pain balms. Wow. So this is a very, very healthy trend, and we would have to see how much of them continue. But I'm happy that we could recruit so many consumers.
And because North was a very low market share for us, was that the reason? Because South and West we've been fairly strong.
Yeah, so we entered a lot of new households in the North. That's what I said. So, okay. It is still a very small market compared to West and South, but we almost grew by 4 times in the North.
Wow, that's good to know.
And very recently we have signed Sonu Sood for pain balms. So I think, in the rural areas, that should also help the brand to grow.
Right, the connect and position.
Yeah, he has a huge connect in the northern India and the rural markets.
So in rural markets, there seems to be room available for growth in terms of lower SKUs and the smaller packs is what we'll focus on.
But interestingly, the balms, this time the bigger packs have shown more growth than the smaller packs.
Okay.
Even the 50 ml pack, there was always a short supply, so which is a very, very healthy sign, I would say.
Okay. Understood. That is helpful. One question for Rajesh on the amortization. As I see the notes to accounts, we've, reduced the life from 10 years to 7 years for, the brand and trademarks as well as mold. So that is what leading to a 35-36 crore additional impact this quarter in depreciation. And how do we look at it for the year as a whole and going forward?
Yeah, hi Prakashji. So we
Hi.
did this accelerated amortization since last year. We did this one.
Right.
So earlier the Kesh King brand was supposed to get amortized over a period of 10 years. Now we have reduced the life to 7 years. So this will continue up to June 22. So another 4 quarters. And roughly 60 odd crores would be amortized per every quarter till then.
And then the run rate should drop to around 90 to
Yeah.
100 crores.
No, the run rate after June 22 would
on an annual basis, I'm talking.
Yeah, 40, 50 crores. 50 crores kind of.
Fine. Understood. I'll join back the queue if I have more questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask any question may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Amit Sachdeva from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my question, and congratulations for good set of results, Mohanji. My question is, broadly on digital and e-commerce, Mohanji. It appears to me that digital e-commerce and the new channels have proved to be quite a blessing in disguise for you, and you have built. Obviously you had built great brand equity across brands by years of investments, but distribution perhaps seems like a bottleneck with wholesale dependence on some brands. So it seems to me that this whole new cycle has worked extremely well, and you clearly have done well across the brands. So my question is that if you could tell us how various brand portfolio are exploiting digital. I would assume that the varying degree this would be sort of working. So can you tell us a little bit more brand-wise thought process on how e-commerce and digital is actually taking that brand to the next level? Like, for example, you said Pain Balm, was it e-commerce led, or Navratna or Kesh King or Zandu healthcare range? Can you give us some more color beyond that 5%, how e-commerce is influencing the trajectory of each of these brands, please?
Yeah, surely. So Amit, you are right, and we have been very, very aggressive as far as e-com is concerned. About a year back, our contribution from e-commerce was just 1%, which has now reached to 5%. Okay. So you can understand that there has been an all-round effort by the brand team and also with the e-com team to get it to 5%. And I'm very, very hopeful that we are not stopping at 5%. Very soon the contribution should reach to about 7.5%. Okay, in the next 1 year. That is our target, first target.
Sure.
Now, as far as brands are concerned, we have identified few brands which have contributed to this 5%. And to start with, all the large packs, at least the large SKUs of Kesh King, Zandu Balm, Navratna Oil, Fair and Handsome, and so all the brands, we launched some special SKUs only for the e-commerce, where we give substantial good schemes, say a Navratna 500 ml, which is only on e-com, or Kesh King 300 ml, so something like those, a Zandu 50 ml, which doesn't sell so much in the traditional trade. So there we give, where we give a lot of banded packs, offers, discounts to those consumers, which helps us to get new consumers. And in every category, whether it is Kesh King Onion Oil or Zandu new products that we have launched for Zandu Care, and so there has been an all-round effort in every brand. Each brand honestly has a target to achieve only for digital.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's really great to hear, Mohanji. And it seems to me that some of the distribution gaps of the past are more than adequately being bridged in this, and it is perhaps giving a more momentum, and new users are being added which were traditionally not possible to reach. Possibly it seems so. I'm just putting two and two together.
No,
Is it a fair?
absolutely. And I have no hesitation to say we changed our e-com head also because we wanted to get very, very aggressive. And the new guy has really delivered numbers. And he has set an excellent team under him. We have recruited at least 4 or 5 people only for e-com and young guys, who can take it to the next level. Yeah.
Great. No, very, very good. Thank you so much, Mohanji. A second very quick question is that on the shaping of the portfolio, like for example, now male grooming obviously has limited the range with He and Fair and Handsome, but then they also sit within the broader category of beauty and personal care. Now, this categories are also expanding as a result of digital and new channels and all those things. So a whole lot of new thought processes also coming into these categories with new consumer brands are coming, seeing the gaps which main FMCGs are, keeping or leaving. So in that sense, this whole category is probably up for grabs. Probably again, like, one of your competitors have acquired a small D2C brand as well. So is there a thought process on a broader entry into beauty and personal care, or you would just see that as core, or are you seeing more portfolio shifts coming your way as well in a larger play, or how do we think about this?
No, Amit, you also forgot that we also increased our stake in the Man Company.
Sure, that is there. Yes.
Quarter. So that is it answers the question that we are moving in that direction. That we also want to acquire some digital first brands in the male grooming. We have always been bullish on male grooming. Unfortunately, last 1.5 to 2 years, male grooming has not done so well. We have at least 10 products ready under Fair and Handsome and He to be launched for digital products, for digital this thing. Let the market revive. We would very soon come out with a big range under both Fair and Handsome and He, only for digital.
Sure. But you would stick to just male grooming part of it, no sort of larger play that you think as personal care and all those things. And you will limit largely to this.
Fair and Handsome is personal care. I don't know what you mean by male grooming as
I mean, Fair and Handsome is still a male dependence, right? So in some sense, largely.
Yeah, male. We will stick to male here. Yeah, that is true.
Okay. That's exactly what I was asking, that your play would be largely.
No, definitely. Okay. I think there is a lot of room for male grooming products in India.
Okay, great. That's very helpful, Mohanji. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Prasad Deshmukh from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Mohanji, and Rajeshji for giving this opportunity. So, a couple of questions. One, what is your current direct reach, and at what stage are you in terms of increasing this reach in rural? I remember you had discussed some time back about 13 states that you had identified that are critical for rural sales. So just wanted to get a further update on this.
Yeah, so Prasad, as you know that the Project Khoj and SAMT are two big distribution drive we are doing now. And as far as these 13 states are concerned, which contributes to 88-89% of our rural business, to start with, we have rolled out the Project Khoj in 4 states. And in the last 1 month, I think we have already covered about, or maybe 45 days, we have opened about 1,300 sub-stockists. In the next 1 year, we have a target of reaching to about 8,000 villages, and in 3 years, 32,000 villages. If we are able to progress the way it is, we will definitely try to finish it in 2 years' time.
Got it. The second question is in terms of advertising. Could you spell out, percentage share of print, TV, and digital in first quarter 22 versus that in FY20, and where do you see your digital spends going even when COVID normalizes?
So this data I don't think I have readily available.
Okay. I'll connect with Rajeshji to get.
Yeah, you can talk to Rajeshji.
Sure. And then
definitely digital spends, have gone up multiple times in every brand. but details you can take it from Rajesh.
Sure. And last question, in terms of new launches, under Boro Plus range, you had launched multiple products like I think soap also was there, petroleum jelly was there. How are these products performing? And in the quarter, what was the contribution from overall new products?
So overall new products contributed to 3% in this quarter. And in Boro Plus, out of all, as I said, sanitizers we have knocked off because the sales is zero. But as far as the soap and aloe vera gel is concerned, these two products are doing much better compared to some of the other offerings.
Got it. Thanks a lot, Mohanji, and congrats on great first quarter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Jigar Shah from Maybank. Please go ahead.
Good evening and congratulations for good results. Actually, most of my questions have been answered, so I will pass it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harit from Investec. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Mohanji and Rajesh. Just two questions. Firstly, on the balance part of the year, I mean, if you look at the base now, you have a very high healthcare growth, but at the same time, you did extreme initiatives on distribution and new products, as well as the fact that your discretionary portfolio, which is summer and winter, will probably do a bit better than, given the fact that, COVID second wave is kind of come off. So I just wanted to know, do you expect an acceleration from this 5% kind of year-over-year growth from a 2-year perspective going forward? Is that what we should build in, like a higher expectation of growth from here? And are you kind of seeing first signs of that already in July?
So Harit, I really can't predict, but the momentum, as I said, continues as far as domestic is concerned. Over the 2-year period, yes, definitely the growth momentum continues. The only thing that you have to keep in this thing is the international business, which is pulling our numbers down, unfortunately. So in the last 2 months, so I really don't know when the international would bounce back, but domestic business is on a good growth momentum.
Got it.
Even though on a higher base, we have done a good set of numbers in the month of July.
Got it. And the second was on the margin side. I mean, you're looking at a 3.5% price increase. Your largest commodity, menthol, is not really, significantly inflationary for you. It's largely the oil-related costs. I just wanted to get a sense also on the margin side. You're probably one of the few companies that on a year-over-year basis seem flattish to improving margins. Is that the way you look at the balance part of the year as well? That you should be in the similar ballpark that you did last year, in spite of last year being a high base, where a lot of your cost initiatives kind of work.
So Harit, yeah, I think with the trends that we are seeing now, I think we would be able to maintain our gross margin number, what it looks like. But a lot would depend on the advertising. If we spend a little more, there could be a slight dip in the EBITDA margins. But there is not much pressure on the margins overall, because all the key products which contribute to high margins, they are showing good momentum, as balms or Kesh King. So Boro Plus, of course, we would have to wait and see, but margin products are going better than the other products.
Great. Those are my two questions, Mohanji. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to ask any question, may please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sonal Kohli from Bowhead. Please go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity and congratulations on great results. I have broadly 3 queries. Firstly, if I go by historical trends of Q1 versus the full year, it makes me conclude that this year will be very strong for you. So would a 30 to 33% EBITDA margin be a possibility for you? Secondly, if you could update us on, the progress for, reduction of, pledged shares, and when do you expect key events to materialize? Would 6 months be a fair assessment to complete this? Thirdly, considering on a relative basis, we are still undervalued, would you consider a buyback this year? Thank you.
Sonal, I'm not too sure whether 32 or 33% EBITDA margins is feasible. As I said, it would depend on our advertising, what we do in the third or the fourth quarter. But you would not see a much dip in the margins because the gross margins is favorable. Okay. And as far as pledge is concerned, we are at 30%. Every time I have maintained we are committed that we would bring it down gradually. We are on, one very positive development in the last 1 month has happened that we got the orders from the Jodhpur High Court. So very soon, I think the 5% pledge, which was with Novoco, should be released. And but even despite of that, we are committed to bring it down to zero. There is no timeline, but it would surely happen. And sorry, your third question was? Buyback. No, we haven't decided anything on the buyback.
So lastly, sir, what do you think that, do you think that there's a 0% probability that, over the next 2 years, Emami would have a professional CEO, your post would be appreciated, or there is some possibility of that happening?
Your voice is not very clear, Sunil, unfortunately.
My apologies, I'll repeat my query. From a 2 years perspective, what do you think is the probability or a possibility of a professional CEO, at Emami? Would you consider it to be a zero possibility, or would you consider it to be, some possibility? Thank you.
No. So I don't know the timeline. Why have you said 2 years? But and I would never say that the probability is zero. There is very high probability that there would be a professional CEO. I can't give the timeline.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Babel from Shubhkam Venture. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. My questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vishal Gupta from Flip Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Just wanted to know within the healthcare business, apart from Chyawanprash, which all brands have done well because exceptional growth has been reported in the healthcare on the front. And sir, the second question is on the ad spend front. Historically, we've been spending around 17 to 18% ad spend as a percentage of sales. So what is the likely guidance for next 2 to 3 years ad spend as a percentage of sales?
So Vishal, as far as ad is concerned, we would keep the range as same, about 17 to 18%, I expect, because we are launching a lot of new products and we are getting aggressive to build our brands. And as far as healthcare portfolio is concerned, there is so as far as healthcare brands are concerned, it has been led by every brand other than the immunity. So Pancharist grew by almost 47%. So all the brands have done well actually. Pancharist, Nithyam, every brand has done well.
Okay. So is it because of the appointment of the new CEO isn't coming and plus initiatives you have taken on distribution front that has helped that growth, or what is driving growth apart from immunity boosting range? Because immunity boosting range is understandable, but apart from that, what is driving growth in other categories?
So overall, I think definitely I would contribute a lot of growth to the new team who has joined. They have really, shown phenomenal numbers, and and also pandemic helped quite a bit, I would say, in achieving these numbers.
Okay. Great, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikhil from SIMPL. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on good set of numbers. I have just two questions. One is, during the call you mentioned that in the paint segment we were able to add a lot of new customers, but that would also be because of the COVID wave. But post that, in June, July, have you seen a sales follow through, or are you seeing that it was a more of a one-time event-driven demand which is now depleting as the COVID cases are reducing?
So Nikhil, yes, you are very right. So a lot of new consumers came because of the pandemic. It is a huge challenge for us to retain all these consumers, which is very, very unlikely. We are seeing some demand coming off in the last 1 month, and we have a very, very high base of pain now from the month of July onwards. So, but as I said, we as marketeers, we have we signed Sonu Sood to get into the rural areas of North. So let us try and see how many of them we can retain. But it is not possible to retain all of them.
Sure, sir. Secondly, sir, my question was on the digital first. I think we had a good discussion already. But what I could sense is that as of now, our digital first approach is more on SKU based, continuing with the same brand. But what we are seeing is a proliferation of many new brands, as well as even listed companies are opting for a completely new brand. So just want to understand, why are we thinking of continuing with the same brand rather than launching a new brand? How you are thinking about it? Between
sorry, Nikhil, I think it is very clear that we see opportunities in our existing products. First, we have to leverage our existing products, right? Then we can always look at new opportunities. And as I said, we have increased our stake in the Man Company. We are constantly looking for opportunities for digital first brands. But abhi internally, when every brand feels that there is scope in Kesh King, Navratna, Fair and Handsome or Zandu portfolio, why shouldn't we leverage these brands first? We have reached from 1% to 5% in last 6 quarters, and still there is a room of at least 2-3% in the existing portfolio. उसको तो पहले पूरा ठीक से leverage कर लेना.
But then it would be more of a distribution game which we are trying to improve the distribution of existing brand and not a digital first kind of a brand approach.
No, but I said, like whether it is Kesh King Onion Oil or Navratna Therapy Oil or Navratna Gold or Fair and Handsome, there is a new complete range which would be launched only for new set of consumers, digital first brands, which we would not be launching in the trade. So there are a lot of opportunities in our existing portfolio.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Krishnan Sambamoorthy from Motilal Oswal. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mohanji. Hi, Rajesh. Congrats on a good set of numbers. Couple of questions from my side. The healthcare segment prospects, beyond the near term, what sort of growth are you looking at, particularly taking into account the e-commerce sales as well? What sort of targets are there from over the next 2 or 3 years from a CAGR basis?
So, Mr. Krishnan, let us wait and see, because everyone, you are aware that it's a high base, particularly which has come because of the immunity. And I've constantly been saying second wave, we have not seen the same momentum in the immunity products. So how do we offset that with some of our new offerings is going to be a little challenging. But of course, there is commitment that with new products, we should see a double-digit growth for sure as far as healthcare is concerned.
Okay. Okay. And the other question is regarding the pledge, which you indicated at about 5% is likely to reduce soon because of the approval from the Jodhpur High Court. But beyond that, I mean, intention, timeline to bring it down to zero?
As I said, unfortunately, I can't give you timelines, but commitment is 100% there.
Okay, got it. Thanks, Mohan.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kunal Vora from BNP Paribas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I had a question on male grooming. It's still down to like almost 47% compared to 2 years back. You put in the effort, you hired a consultant also. Do you think it is only pandemic or is there more work needed on this? And when do you expect to get back to pre-COVID levels in case of male grooming?
So Kunal, there was, of course, more than to just do with pandemic. We were not doing so well as far as Fair & Handsome is concerned. But since we signed Salman as our brand ambassador, almost 2-3 quarters back, the brand started growing phenomenally. And again, the second wave came and we got stuck. But you would be happy to see our numbers, I think, in the second quarter.
Okay. Sure, we'll look forward to. And secondly, also wanted to understand the 35 lakh customer addition for balms. Were these customers that did not use pain management products earlier and just temporarily started using these products because of the pandemic? And if you can share more insights on how you targeted these customers, what kind of product was offered, like what you did to really recruit these many customers.
No, product is the same. The Zandu balm, the normal Zandu balm, because of the stress levels going up significantly higher, so they tried out Zandu balm. We did a campaign specific to pandemic, for the second wave. When there was, our campaign was Bhaap Lo, Saans Lo with Zandu balm, which really worked fantastically well in the North India. So, and I have been continuously saying we signed Sonu Sood, who has a very high, connect with the rural masses, particularly in the North India and also in South. So, the campaign will break soon. Let us see how it works. How many of the new consumers we can retain, we will have to see.
Sure. That's it from my side. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kunal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Ekta Sangvi from Vallum Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. So I just had an overall question about Kesh King. What is your outlook for the next 2-3 years for the brand? And can you give me the number of the e-commerce contribution to the overall Kesh King revenue currently? And what do you see this number becoming in the next 2-3 years?
So Ekta, Kesh King, as you know, is doing phenomenally well. We only suffered because of the pandemic in the first quarter, but the month of July has seen a good bounce back. We are very happy that we have been able to take shares from Indulekha and also from Patanjali as far as Kesh King is concerned. It shows a lot of confidence in the brand. We signed Silpa for Kesh King, replacing Jui, but let us see how aggressive we can be with our new campaign. But Kesh King is a very, very important brand, and so we would try to grow Kesh King on double digit for the next few years. There were a lot of offerings from Kesh King digital first brands. Kesh King onion oil, shampoo, these products were launched. I don't have very specific number how much Kesh King contributes in e-com. That you can talk to Rajesh and get the numbers.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the line of Shishir Pradeshi from Centrum Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Mohanji. Thanks for the follow-up. I have two questions. Could you talk something about on the raw material inflation? We're really moving, but seeing Myntra is also falling. So, any trend you can see in July, and the question is that in that context, do you think?
Sorry, Shirish, your voice is breaking, but what I understand is you're asking about the raw material inflation in the month of July?
Yes.
So we haven't seen much inflation, Shirish, in the month of July. As I said, the trend is favorable, and it is only on the downwards trend, honestly.
Okay.
We were worried in the month of March, April, but अभी वैसा pressure नहीं है कोई.
Okay. And my second question on the Navratna therapy product, which has just gone into the market. Would you be able to size up, saying that who do you compete this, or any color on the which channels you are planning to get in, and if this has gone into the modern trade also?
So we have only launched in e-commerce. Very soon, of course, we will take it to the modern trade also. It's quite an expensive product compared to the Navratna oil, because a lot of people massage with Navratna oil. So it is, a massage oil. So only for e-com and modern trade.
And when you say it is substantially premium, will it be above Indulekha?
Not above Indulekha.
Okay.
So 200, how much is the price? Okay. So yeah, no, it is above Indulekha. So 200 ml is 500 rupees. Okay. After discount, actual MRP is 650.
And this has gone in the month of July, you are saying?
Yeah, we have just launched it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We will take our last question. That is from the line of Vishal Gupta from Flip Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, are you looking towards M&A now, given now you've been debt-free and promoter pledge been brought down to significant level? Anything looking interesting on M&A front?
We don't discuss M&A in con call.
Yeah, but at least in domestic or international, what are you looking, any specific target they are looking at, anything that you can comment upon?
No comments at all. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
We thank all the participants for joining us today for our quarterly results call. Thank you, Percy. Thank you, IIFL, for arranging this for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. On behalf of IIFL Capital Limited, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect.